Why do we admire Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose so much? The INA, in spite of being brave, courageous, were thoroughly decimated, and so on and so forth. Even after his death, which is in quotation marks, the INA members were jailed, suffered terrible consequences. A leader leads his people to defeat in two battles, allows his people to be used cannon fodder, does nothing to ensure his people's safety after death. Would he be still called a great leader? P.S. I love and respect and admire Netaji from the bottom of my heart. I'm just playing the devil's advocate. Sorry if it hurts anybody's feeling. Okay, a good question. We should certainly examine this question. Why do we admire Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose despite the fact that he did not succeed? What was his objective? Let's understand this. What was the objective of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? His objective was to liberate India from British occupation through military means. That was his objective. He tried to play to go through the traditional political route. He was a member of the Congress. He was ejected from the Congress by Mohandas Gandhi, who engineered a political coup against Netaji. And then Netaji realized that the political route will not work, and that's why he went and explored other options, the military option. He raised an army, etc. So his objective was to liberate India from genocidal British occupation through military means. And we know that he did not succeed. He failed, right? We know that he failed. So why do we still admire him? The reason we admire him is because he had skin in the game. He was there on the front lines facing the bullets. He put his life on the line repeatedly for the sake of his nation. He put his life on the line. He did not care whether he lived or died. He was willing to die for the nation. He led his soldiers from the front, and he was even willing to put his reputation to the stake. He was willing to stake his reputation. He did not care whether his reputation would be tarnished as long as he was able to serve his nation. And he has been called all kinds of things by Indian politicians. The Indian communists called Netaji. This is not my words. It's in the words of the Indian Communist Party, various parties. They called him a running dog of the Japanese. That's what they called him. Various other parties and other politicians in other quarters have called him. They've called him a war criminal because he was on the side of the Axis powers, Germany and Japan. He has been called all kinds of things. People have tried to destroy his reputation. He was fine with that. He did not care what happened to his reputation, what happened to his life, as long as he was able to serve the nation. There are certain politicians who sit somewhere far away and have people die for them, right? So they will, the so-called armchair generals, who will draw lines on maps, and those lines on the maps will cause hundreds of thousands of soldiers to die. But they will not be there in the thick of the battle, right? There are most of these so-called leaders are like that. Netaji was not like that. He was there. He was there facing the bullets, right? He was there. So there is so much today's leaders can learn from somebody like him. If you look at today's politicians, I would say 99% of them are well, they leave a lot to be desired. Maybe 1% of politicians have some of the qualities that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose had. Yes, he failed, and leaders must succeed. So yes, he failed. But you know what? We admire people who fail gloriously because they tried their best. You cannot say the same about the so-called other leaders of India, the other so-called leaders of India from the 1930s, 1940s, etc. How many hours, days, weeks did Muhammad Ali Jinnah spend in a British jail? Can someone answer this question? How many days did Mr. Jinnah spend in a British jail? Mr. Gandhi spent a significant amount of time in five-star jails, yes, palaces, but at least you can say he was in jail. You know, he would have a morning walk, he would have his goat milk, and he would then relax and write something and write letters and all that. Mr. Gandhi spent that sort of quality jail time. It was like a vacation for him. Mr. Nehru also spent time in jail, but it was again quality vacation time. Mr. Jinnah did not spend a single day in jail. Mr. Bose faced bullets. He was in a submarine. He had to escape from house arrest, disguised as somebody else. He had to escape through northern India, through Gandhar. He had to through Central Asia all the way to Russia. I believe, then to Germany. From Germany, he had to go all the way to Japan, all in the service of the nation. He did everything he could. He dedicated his whole life to the nation. He was willing to die for the nation. He was willing to have his reputation ruined for the nation. These are the reasons we admire him for. Show me another Indian leader, successful or not, who had even 10% of Netaji's qualities. You won't find anyone like that. So that is the reason why we admire him. Yes, it's true he failed. He failed because he did not have the resources that the empire had at its disposal. Right? But he tried. And most likely he knew that he may fail. He still tried. So that's why we admire him. So that is why he is one of the few leaders of the 20th century and later from India that we actually can truly admire.